Hey, we are back on the pig trail talking some baseball with Blaine Knight. He was the ace for the Razorbacks this past season as a junior for Arkansas. In fact, he is joining us on the phone. And Blaine, let's talk about the fact that you are going to report to Aberdeen, Maryland. That will be for short season A ball. Tell me about how excited you are to get things going there.
Oh, I'm super excited and, super thankful that the Orioles picked me up and gave me the opportunity to continue my career.
Yeah, and talk about that. How did that process play out where you're going to report? Because I know based on the fact of your workload and how much you pitched here, especially going all the way up to the National Championship Series, they're going to kind of scale you back a little bit. Is that right?
I think so. I'll know a little more information when I get there and I talk to them and stuff. But I don't see myself doing a whole lot just because of the workload I had in the college season. But I'm sure I'll throw a little bit, though.
Okay, so tell me about this process. So close to the deadline when you consider, the Orioles really had to make a move there to get you signed. And, you're drafted in June. And that was kind of a dicey thing there. Everybody was kind of like, okay, are they going to sign him? What the heck is going on? He was really close to that late afternoon deadline this past week. What was going through your head there as far as the terms and how that whole thing played out?
Oh, it was just negotiating back and forth. And, it just took longer than what we expected it to. But, I was really confident that we were going to get a deal done before the deadline, even though it was down to the last couple hours. But, it was good. We're all on good terms. The negotiations went well. And, I'm looking forward to getting to Aberdeen and getting my pro career started.
Okay, being a Bryant, Arkansas native, have you ever been to a Baltimore Orioles game?
Actually, I was. When I had to go up for my physicals with Baltimore last week. That was the first Orioles game I've ever been to. I've watched the Orioles play on TV before, but that's the first time I've ever been to Camden Yards. And, it's a beautiful park. And, they're slacking a little bit right now. But, baseball is baseball. They have games that they do really well, and they have games that are just pretty average. But, at that level, it's really hard to be pretty consistently good for a long period of time.
Yeah, I love that ballpark there. Of course, a really good blend of the old and new. Let's talk about the fact that you had a 4-pitch mix there that was so good. We talked about that so much, especially in the postseason. Really, you had so many options, with the slider. If the slider was going, you would stick with that. The fastball, if it was going, you go to that. How did that play out in terms of the chemistry with Grant Cook when you had to go with one pitch versus another and really just to generate more and more success as you were on the mound?
Yeah, it's just a matter of knowing my stuff that day. When I came out of the bullpen, I knew exactly what was going to be working. And, and Grant did too, and he was down there. And, me and Grant called our own games. And, so me and Grant were always on the same page. And, he knew what I was comfortable with. And, if he put something down that I didn't think I should throw, if I wasn't comfortable with that time, I'd shake him off and go with what I thought. And, I didn't do that very often because, Grant's incredible at that side of the game and calling a game. So, but chemistry-wise, it was really good. I've never had a better catcher than Grant. I don't think I'll ever have a better catcher than Grant. And, it was a lot of fun, and I hate he's not going to be able to catch me anymore.
Yeah, great guy. Obviously now in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization, a 5th-round pick, Grant Cook. All right, 14-0 is your record. You have the single-season school record for wins. That was over 19 starts. Blaine, talk about your junior season. 102 strikeouts for you, 2.80 ERA. Really, the thing that I loved is that you talked about how you avoided social media based on the fact you didn't want to let that be a distraction. Wes Johnson talked about that a little bit, your pitching coach at Arkansas. When did you decide, okay, I'm staying off that stuff. I'm just going to focus in on what I need to do every day on the mound?
It started up in fall ball because I knew, when I came back after my sophomore year for my junior year, social media blew up and everything else. And, it was just I talked to Coach Johnson, and social media wasn't something that was going to help me. It wasn't going to help me succeed in my craft and everything else. So, we decided to put it to the side. I logged out of everything and just, I just left it. It wasn't going to help me. All it could ever really do was hurt me by looking at stuff about a bad outing or, it was never going to be any good. And, I think getting away from that this year really did help. It kept me focused on what I needed to do and pitching and, just getting better in that aspect every day instead of paying attention to what other people thought or anything else.
Man, this was a great run. It was awesome to cover you guys this past season, clearly. You had 48 wins, finished as the national runner-up. Tell me about the ride because I love the personalities on this team. What do you think overall as far as why you guys were so successful, given the fact you had guys that were really calm and cool like yourself? You also had a guy like Hunter Wilson, highly animated. The guy was crowd surfing there at the opening ceremonies of the College World Series.
Yeah, we had a really good mix. We had the high energy guys like Shaddy and Wilson, and Martin at times that were they're the ones that carried the energy on the field, and then we had the really calm guys like Heston and Grant and Jax, and we had a good mix, and it just blended together really well, and I think that we never had too many high points or too many low points. We stayed pretty even keel with that mixture that we had, and I think that's why we had a lot of success.
Okay, let's close with this. $1.1 million, that's a bonus you got. Big money, man. Let's talk about what you're going to do with that, because I know you love to fish. So, you can buy a lot of expensive bait. What's the plan there, man?
Nothing. I'm going to I'm one of those people, I don't get something new unless it's broken. I can't fix it. And, none of my stuff's broke, and so far I hadn't had to fix anything. So, until that stuff starts happening, I don't plan on spending anything. So, but I'm sure at some point in time I'll have to end up spending it. But as of right now, nothing's broke, so it ain't spending.
Nothing more as far as the hot dogs. You're not going to use the hot dogs for bait anymore?
No, not unless I just absolutely have to. Not unless I absolutely have to. But apparently those northern fish, they like hot dogs better than artificial bait. So I'll be in Maryland, so that's north, so we'll see.
Love that story from a few weeks back. All right, Blaine Knight, thanks very much for joining us here on the Pig Trail. Enjoy the day, and we'll have much more here on the Pig Trail right after this. Thanks, Blaine. Appreciate it, buddy.